Assalamu alaikum students, welcome to my YouTube channel. I hope you are all good and in best of your health. This is a very important video in which I have discussed a very important topic of maths, that is indices, and this is part of the syllabus for IGCSE and Olevels both. So I have clearly and in very detailed explain you all of the laws of indices. So let's check out my okay students, so this chapter involves certain laws that you need to memorize and make your concept clear regarding these laws so that you will be easily able to attempt the questions of your exam. So before starting, let's check out one thing. For instance, I write a to the power m. So this a, which is a variable, it's basically known as the base. It can be any number as well. And m, that is on the top of a, it is the power. Okay, now let's start with the laws. Okay, so law number 1 is, for instance, if you have a to the power m into a to the power n, so you can see that in both of the terms the powers are different but the bases are same. So what happens in this type of questions, we write a single base and the powers get added up. So it's going to be a to the power m plus n. Okay, let me explain you this law with an example. For instance, if I give you 2 to the power q into 2 to the power 4, so what happens is you take a single base because the bases are same. So basically this is the law that your base needs to be same. With different bases you cannot apply this law. So you will take a single 2 and then you will add up the powers. So once you add up the powers, it is going to be 2 to the power 7 because 3 plus 4 is 7. Okay, let's check out another example. If I give you x to the power q into x to the power square, now you can see bases are same, they both are x. So what happens is you will add up the powers. Okay, so finally it's going to be x to the power of 5. Okay, so I hope this first law is clear with you guys. Okay, the second law is, for instance, if you have a question a to the power m divided by a to the power n. Previously we had multiplication, but now we have division. Okay, so this question can be written in this form as well. So if you have same base but you have division sign in between, so the powers will get subtracted. Okay, now let's do an example. If I give you 3 to the power of 5 and 3 square, so you have same base, so you will write it just once and the powers will get subtracted. So it's going to be 3 to the power of 3, so 3 cube is 27. So for this question the final answer is 27. Okay, now let's move towards the third law. Okay, if you have a to the power m into b to the power m, you have a multiplication sign in between the two terms, but if you see you have different bases. Term number 1 has the base a and term number 2 has the base b, but both of the bases have the same powers. So what you are going to do is you are going to multiply the bases and take a common power. Okay, it can be written in this way and it can also be written in this way. It's OR. So let's do this question with an example. If I give you 3 cube into 2 cube, so you can see that the bases are different but the powers are same. Both of them have the same power, that is 3. So you are going to multiply the bases and you are going to take a single common power. So 3 times 2 is 6 cube. So 6 cube is 216. So 216 is the final answer for this question. Okay, now if this is the fourth law. Now in the previous law, both of these different basis terms were multiplied. So the fourth law is, if both of the different bases but same powers are being divided, now what will you do it? It can be written in this way as well. Okay, so what you are going to do is, the bases will remain in division form and you will take a common power, that is m. Okay, so let's do it with an example. If I give you 8 cube divided by 4 cube, so what you are going to do is, the bases will remain in the fraction and you will take a common power, that is 3. So you are going to see if you can evaluate the inside fraction. So yes, 4 times 1 is 4 and 4 times 2 is 8. So it's 2 cube, 2 cube is 8. So 8 is the final answer for this question. Okay, now the fifth law is, if you have a base and that base has a power of 0, okay, so anything to the power of 0 will be 1. But remember, the base cannot be 0. Okay, it needs to be any number that is greater than 0. Okay, so let's do it with an example. If I give you 2 cube over 2 cube, so what is 2 cube? That is 8. Okay, and 2 cube is 8. So 8 divided by 8 is 1. Okay, secondly, this can also be written in this way. Same basis, powers can get simplified or they can get subtracted. So 2 to the power of 0. So anything to the power of 0 is 1. So I showed you that how do you actually get this 1 is when you subtract the powers, take the same powers, and anything that turns out to be 0 in the power, so the whole answer is going to be 1. Okay, okay, rule number 6 is, for instance, if you have a base that is 1, okay, and you have a power that is in the terms of x, so whatever number you put or you replace in x, your answer is going to be 1. For instance, let's do it with an example. If you have 1 square, okay, it means 1 into 1, the answer will be 1. If you have 1 cube, you're multiplying 1 thrice, still your answer is 1. If you have 1 to the power 4, you're multiplying this 1 4 times, still your answer is going to be 1. So if your base is 1, whatever times you multiply it, the answer will remain 1. Okay, okay, so law number 7 is, whenever you have a base but your power is negative, so how can you make, or how can you change this negative power into positive, is by taking this whole thing in the denominator. So whenever you take this whole thing in the denominator, the power is going to turn to positive automatically. For instance, let me explain you with an example. If you have a to the power of negative 2, so if you take a to the power negative 2 in the denominator, so it's going to be positive square. Okay, 1 upon a to the power of positive square. Okay, let's check out another example. If you have 3 to the power of minus 2, you need to remove this minus sign with the power. So you will take this whole thing in the denominator, so the power, negative power, is going to convert into positive. So it's going to be 3 square, which is 9. So it's going to be 1 over 9. Okay, there is another law in which, for instance, if you have bases in fraction and you have a negative power, so how will you convert this negative power, plus you also have a fraction? So in this case, the inner fraction will reciprocate, means it is going to get reversed. The numerator is going to become the denominator and the denominator is going to become the numerator. So automatically the power will become positive. So you just need to reverse the fraction, so the power will convert into positive. So let's check out with an example. If I give you 3 upon 4 negative 2, so you will reverse this inside fraction and it's going to be 4 over 3. The square is going to turn positive. Now this square is on this whole fraction, it's not only just on 4. So if you open up the bracket, so it's going to be like this. So 4 square is 16 and 3 square is 9. So this is the final answer for this law. Okay, law number 9 says, if you have a base and that base has a power and then you have a whole power as well, so once you expand it, so these both powers will get multiplied with each other. Okay, so let's do it with an example. If you have x cube and your whole power is 2, remember the powers are not going to add, they are going to be multiplied. So it's 3 into 2, so the final answer is 3 into 2 is 6. So it's going to be x to the power of 6. Okay, let's do it with another example. If you have 2 square whole power of 4, so 2 into 4 is 8. Okay, so it's like this. You can do it with the calculator. So 2 times 8 is 256. Okay, now if you have fractional powers, now let's see what you will do in such kind of cases. If you have x and there is a root, okay, so it's obvious that if you don't have any number that is written on the power, it means it is 1, and if you have nothing written on the root sign, it's obvious that it's a square root. So how will you convert the base into a fractional power? We're going to write x. The power that is inside the root will come in the numerator, and the number that is written on the root sign is going to come in the denominator. So it's going to be x to the power of half. Okay, in case if you have this thing, so if it's a cube root, so it's 3 that is going to be written on the root sign. There's a 1 that is obvious. So if you convert it into fractional power, it's going to be x to the power of 1 upon 3. Okay, now this is very important. If you have x to the power of 3 upon 2, that is equals to 8, and if you want to make x the subject of the formula, so you are going to take this power on the opposite side. So once you take the power on the opposite side, it will get reciprocated. which means the numerator is going to become the denominator and the denominator is going to become the numerator. Okay, now you are going to see how you can simplify this 8. If you take 2 cube and if you evaluate 2 cube, you are going to get 8. So instead of this 8, you can write 2 cube whole power of 2 upon 3. As discussed earlier, that if you have a power inside and then you have a whole power, so both of these powers are going to get multiplied. So you can easily simplify the 3's. So you will be left with 2, this 2 and this 2. Okay, so 2 square is 4. So the value of x is 4. Okay, in case if you have x equals to x to the power of 3 upon 2 equals to 64. Now you want to make x the subject of the formula. You will take the power on the opposite side and it's going to get reciprocated. So it will be written in this way. Now you're going to see how you're going to break up this 64. Okay, let me give you a hint. Whatever power you have in the denominator, okay, you will be breaking up this term with that power. For instance, I mean to say, the base will have a cube, and if you multiply the base 3 times, so you're going to get 64. Okay, in simpler words. So which number you are going to cube in order to get 64? That is 4. Again, 3 into 2 over 3. This is going to get simplified. You will be left with a square. So it's going to be 16. So the value of x is 16. Okay, let's do with another example. In case if you have, and that is 64. Okay, you are going to make x the subject of the formula. Powers are going to get reciprocated, which means it's going to be 3 over 2. Now just check out, in your denominator you have a square. So what you are going to do is, you are going to take a base which you are going to square, so it will become 64. So which number you are going to take a square so that it becomes 64? It's 8. So 8 into 8 is 64. So you are going to multiply the powers. This 2 is going to get simplified. So 8 cube is 512. So the value of x is 512. Okay, now for instance, if you have powers and at the same time you have decimals, so powers and decimals are not friends. So how you are going to solve such type of questions when you have decimals and at the same time you have powers and will be negative powers? Okay, so let's check out. If you have 0.2 to the power of negative 2, so first you are going to remove this decimal. It means that if you write it in this way in fractions, so you are removing the decimal. Okay, why it's just 1 0 with 1? Because if you multiply it with 10, only then your decimal is being able to remove. Okay, so firstly you removed the decimal by converting this base into fraction. Now as we have already studied that how you can remove this negative power by reciprocating the this entire fraction. So 10 will go in the numerator and 2 will come in the denominator. So automatically your power is going to get power will get positive. You can further see that if you can simplify, if there is a possibility that you can simplify, so you will simplify. So it's 5 square. So 5 square is 25. So your final answer for this question is 25. Okay. Okay, next question is, in case if you have cube root of 0.008. So again, first you need to remove this decimal. It means that it's 0.008. You need to multiply it with 1, 2, 3. 3 zeros in order to remove the decimal. It means that it's going to be 8 over 1000. Cube root will be outside. So it's a whole cube root, which means that the numerator will also have the cube root and the denominator will also have a cube root. So the cube root of 8 is what? It's 2, and the cube root of 1000 is 10. So you can further simplify it. So it's going to be 1 over 5. So 1 over 5 is the answer for this question. So this is all for this video. I hope you are clear about the concept and about all of the laws of indices. In case if you are still not clear, or any law is still not clear in your mind, you can frankly approach to me through my WhatsApp, or you can comment down your queries in the comment section. So I will be there to help you out. So stay tuned to my channel. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, and also don't forget to click the bell icon so that you will be notified about my upcoming videos. And also don't forget to like my video. Take care of yourself.